Hi there, I'm John of John's Carnivorous Plants. This is my indoor nursery, and today we have an interesting topic. Are spiders a pest for carnivorous plants? And this is a yes and a no. So this is a rather cool topic for you to sit there and think about a little bit. So in nature, you've seen documentaries and whatnot, I'm sure, where, there's an animal just freshly killed something and it's like, eating its prey, and it's like, mowing out of town, and then another animal comes along and they just like both size each other up and try to fight over the food. The same thing happens with carnivorous plants, particularly with spiders. There's other kinds of insects like praying mantis and, well, mantis and a few other like beetles and whatnot that will see that a carnivorous plant like a sundew, who is much smaller than them, have caught a bug, and they'll go up and they'll go grab and literally steal the kill from the carnivorous plant. It's actually a known thing in the wild that carnivorous plants have to compete with other animals and insects for their food. In that regard, spiders in nature tend to be a pest in that. Like, well, not even just a pest, they tend to be competition, I think is a better way to put it. They're not necessarily like hurting the plant, but they're hurting it by taking some of its food source and depriving it of the nutrition that it needs. In that regard, I would consider them a pest in that it is actively harming the growth of the plant in some fashion, just not as direct as, say, an aphid or a mite would. Now, there's all kinds of different pests, such as like the aforementioned aphids and mites, that spiders will attack. And depending on the species, there's a lot of, there's a lot of asterisk here. I'm putting quotation marks, but I can't really, little asterisk. Okay, there we go. There's a bunch of asterisk here in that various different spider species eat many different kinds of prey. There are all kinds of different arachnids around the world. So this is in no way all-encompassing. It's just more of a generalization. But yes, spiders, generally speaking, will clean your plants if you have them growing inside, and they'll make sure that a lot of the nastier bugs tend not to get to them. Now, if you have pitcher plants, I've commonly seen this where you'll have in your Nepenthes or your Sarracenia, spiders will get very brazen and will actually set up a web inside the pitcher. Now, this behavior is documented. It is a form of competitive behavior, but it's also cooperative, because the spider, whenever it releases its waste, which, we don't really ever think about spiders pooping, but they do. Whenever the spider releases its waste, it will be excreting it further into the pitcher, and essentially it broke down the insect that the bug was trying to catch. In that case, they are cooperating with the carnivorous plant. Now, your perspective on whether or not that was direct competition, and like if it's taking more nutrition from the plant than what it would have received from the insect, I don't really know. I haven't found too many studies that have really dived into this in a natural setting, and it would be really interesting to find one where they actually go through and look at a bog and see like, oh, how many of the pitchers have spiders in it? Are the ones that are larger, are they the ones that are more likely to have these relationships? A lot of the stuff we don't know. However, I can say that in my own collection, I have noticed that with my biblis, I have seen small jumping spiders go through and actually clean off any kind of flies or other small insects that get caught on them, which is a very fascinating behavior. Only Stereocopsis beetles in Australia have ever been witnessed on biblis doing that kind of behavior. So it's very interesting to see a North American spider basically take up that same kind of niche. They, for the most part, I've noticed that spiders in my collection are generally an indication of I have some kind of pest, because I will usually never find spiders outside of wintertime. So once again, an asterisk. If it's spring, summer, or fall, typically speaking at this point of the year, given that it's March whenever I'm recording this, it'll probably come out in April, there's no spiders left in here. They've all moved outside again. However, whenever it gets cold outside, I will find an occasional jumping spider or two that reside in my collection over winter. I don't remove them. I just let them be, and then they just end up going off their merry way. The ones I have issues with are the, oh man, now it's slipping my mind. But we have some rather large, I think they're wolf spiders. No, that's not right. But yeah, we got these big old spiders that will just come running out from my trays on the floor, and those guys I don't like too much just because they scare me. But otherwise, I leave them alone because having spiders in your collection tends to prevent other insects from wanting to move in. If you're outdoors, spiders generally will be taken care of by wasp and other predatory, insects and or birds. So you don't generally need to worry about them outside. Indoors, the most unsightly thing they'll do is leave web on some of your plants. If you don't like that, you can just remove the spider. I highly suggest doing that in a more humane fashion of just removing it. But, to each their own. If you have a plant that's hungry and you want to feed it the spider, I mean, I ain't going to judge you. So you can go ahead and do that if you really like. But this is a more of a thought-provoking video in the fact of, given that they compete with the plants, but also at the same time prevent other more harmful pests, once again with a big asterisk depending on the species, it's up to you to decide whether or not you feel the spiders in your collection are a pest or not. In the wild, they're definitely competition. So just keep that all in mind. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it provokes some thinking for you, and please like, subscribe, check out the links in the description below, check out the Discord, or check out my website and buy some plants and help support me. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to catch you on the next one. Goodbye.